So, hello and welcome everyone joining in. Thanks for joining. I'm Pragati Mehta, your host for the session today and also co-creator of MERAKI. A lot of gratitude actually to everyone on the call for being a part of this session. It's a Saturday evening, and I'm sure all of us have plans typically at this time of the day. Uh, but thanks for taking out the time and being a part of this session that we are having today. As some of you would know, that Meraki was conceptualized back in 2020 with a single important vision that Jaya and I shared, which was how can we make conversations fun, deep, and growth oriented while integrated both the conscious and the subconscious elements which are at play in our life in literally all areas. I'll be talking about the conscious and the subconscious elements as we go deeper. What I'll like to share also with you is that when we created Meraki, actually we ourselves also didn't really understand the power of it. We did it like an interesting creative project at that point in time, but we were very amazed and surprised to hear the feedback that started flowing our way, through the use of it. When we used it with some of the coaches, and those coaches used it with some of their clients, and we were actually humbled beyond measure, and that is what increased our own belief in it. So that was, how the journey started, and every time we hear feedback, that's the same feeling that we get. So if you're somebody who's a coach, L&D professional, HR leader, or a business leader, and somebody who's curious to know about how to unlock the potential of your own self or of people in your circle of influence, you're actually at the right place, because that's exactly what we are going to talk about today. And the way we would like to structure today's session is that we'll be touching upon the Meraki framework first, and then we'll invite our guests on the panel today to share their experiences with it. And towards the end, we open the session for Q&A. So I'll request you to stay tuned till the end of the discussions because we have some gifts coming our way, right? So to begin, let's decode what Meraki really is. But before that, a quick check. I would like to know, many of you have joined, and I would like to know that, whether you've experienced it at least once. If you have, you could type yes in the comments box so that I know. And if not, you could just write totally new to this so that at least we know the kind of audience that we have today, and, how we need to curate our conversation. Okay. Great. So we have some people who have already used it, and then we also have some who are probably hearing it for the first time. So thanks for sharing this. This quick check-in helps. So Meraki is basically a conversational framework which is designed to help navigate real life and complex conversations by enabling the individual to go deeper into the past experiences, to reflect on those experiences and learn from it, and also to generate awareness in the present, get clarity, and align the actions with the kind of values that are in place to ascertain what could the future entail and what actions can one take, standing in the present today. So present to past and present to future, I mean, the whole spectrum is what it covers. And it is actually built on two coaching models. I'll just project on screen how that model looks like. Just give me a second. Yeah. So this is how the model looks like. It has various elements. So Meraki itself is an acronym. So meaning, energy, reality, attention, knowledge, and innovation. That's what Meraki stands for. These are some of the elements of Meraki. And there are also certain sub-elements which are at play, which have also been shared here. And let's take a very common example of somebody who has to say lose weight. Now if we look at that goal of the person, the person would need to have a very clear understanding of what is the drive behind it, how the person is going to measure uh, the weight loss journey, whether it is through efforts or through the weight that one is measuring, how the person's surroundings are supportive enough, what are some of the mental emotional energies at play, how the person physically feels to be able to be aligned to a weight loss program like that through nutrition, not through exercise. What are some of the narratives in the mind of the person that play? What are the mindsets that the person has with respect to the weight loss journey itself, with respect to his or her own body? How the person is looking at himself or herself and others, and what are some of the distractions or focus points that the person has to be able to reach this goal, or even things like what are some of the skills the person has, whether the person has some experience in exercising or following certain kind of diet plans, and what how those experiences have shaped him or her, and again the courage to stretch beyond the what he or she is doing as of now and the various possibilities. So this is just one example that I picked. And now I'll pick up a very distinct or a different sort of an example of, say, a startup founder who's looking at getting investment from investors. Now, what would be those investors wanting to kind of look at, when it comes to investing in the startup founder's venture? They'll want to know what is the purpose behind this venture that has come. What are the kind of drives that this person who's the founder has? Again, how that person's physical, mental, emotional energies are aligned to what the startup entails. What are some of the narratives that the person has about growth? What are some of the values, beliefs that the person has? Again, how is the person looking at competition? How is the person looking at his or her own startup and his or her own leadership style? How that, those are at play. Again, what's the kind of knowledge that the person has? Is the person also bringing in intuition and not just, playing with data? The kind of risk-taking ability, the courage, the ability to play with different possibilities the person is demonstrating. And then at the end of it, also how the person thinks, which is what represents the head, one of our personal powers that all of us have. Heart, which is how the person feels about the same thing. And the action, which is the hand. So basically, are the head, heart, and hand also aligned? So when we look at any conversation, we typically observe all of these elements need to be integrated, and that's what forms this framework. Now, when it comes to a framework like this, we cannot use the framework as it is. So that's why to bring it into to form and to real life for people to be able to access the framework, what we did was we actually created Meraki as a deck of cards. So there's a deck of 54 cards that are available that is based on the coaching model that I just talked about. And today, Meraki is being used by around 1,000 plus coaches across 10 plus countries. And we are very happy to see the numbers growing as we are progressing. And this is how the deck of cards look like. So every card has certain clues that make the person think and reflect of what has happened in the past and what are some of the clues, giving an indication about what is it that that person could do in the future. So that's briefly about Meraki. And before we actually deep dive on the experiences further, what I would also like to do at this point in time is to kind of introduce to you the panel. So we have two panelists with us who have used Meraki, leveraged it, and seen the kind of scientific yet mystic experiences in the clients that they have worked with. And I'm very, very delighted and pleased to welcome two of our panelists today for the discussion. So we have with us Maya and Shiba. Maya comes with around 22 years of rich experience. She is an L&D strategist and a breakthrough coach, crafting leadership development programs at Tata Elxsi. Thank you so much, Maya, for joining us today. And we also have with us Shiba. Shiba also comes with around 2 decades of diverse experience, having worked in different areas of HR across organizations. Currently, as a founder of Viram, she coaches leaders, curates training programs, and offers HR consulting to startups, and also is a key member of the organizing committee of the Spirituality to Reality conference. And a very warm welcome to you as well, Shiba.
Thank you, Pragati. Thank you for this phenomenal introduction. I'm very pleased to be here.
Thank you. And the way, for the audience, I would like to share here, we would like to conduct the session going forward is that there'll be certain moderated questions that we'll be addressing to our panelists. And meanwhile, if there are any questions that you have, you could start sharing those in the chat box so that we can get them addressed as well. Uh, so Maya and Shiba, you both are in the business of people transformation. I'm quite curious to know that how have you integrated Meraki into your work? Would you like to share some of your experiences with the audience?
Maya, you can go first.
Sure. Pragati, thank you for the introduction. I realized I was on mute. And it has been an absolute privilege to hold and possess the Meraki cards. And I would like to highlight two things. One is the image of colored waves and dots on the cover. That is something that has been so symbolic of the way we look at ourselves as human. We have form, yet we have immense capacity and capability of being formless in the way we move through life, the ability to adapt, adopt, excel. And I felt that that imagery that we have on the cover of the Meraki box. I mean, when I got it, it was a box. The Meraki box was exceptionally symbolic. The second thing is looking at the work I do, primarily an IT company, and there is a lot of escalations that the employees are constantly facing. And so there's automatically a very instinctive defensive approach that any discussion brings with it. And I found that these Meraki cards are a lot like a bowl, and the bowl invites you to fill it. And so the cards invite you to express your head, heart, and hand, and the bowl or the cards just hold it. There's no comment, there's no judgment, and there's just silent space. And that actually encourages the participants who are involved in that activity to let down their guards, become more comfortable acknowledging, accepting, and that sets the foundation of moving forward. So I think that is the magic with which the Meraki cards work in the activities that I have conducted. And the concept of the head, heart, and hand brings in that aspect of who am I, what am I, where am I? And at the end of the day, these are the questions that help define the spiritual in us. Thank you for asking me the question. Got myself to articulate quite a bit of my own realizations.
Thank you. Thank you for the insights that you just shared. Yeah.
They were wonderful. Great segue. Thank you for sharing your insights, Maya. Your question is very interesting, Pragati. When I started my journey, I'm a very logical person. I go by what logic tells. And with that, anything that is not logical to me doesn't make sense. So when I got introduced to Meraki for the first time, I looked at it like a gimmick, to be very honest. And I said, what will these cards do? You know, they don't have a brain of their own. And then I experienced Meraki for myself, the first coaching experience I had. And my God, what magic unfolded. Places and emotions and energy that were stuck suddenly seemed to unfold. Everything seemed to get easy. Clarity came into play, and suddenly answers started flowing. I was recently told by somebody that I need to learn the process of surrendering, and that person happens to be on the call today as a participant. And Meraki is a process that allows people to surrender, to connect with the divine, with the energy that is much beyond just us. And that allows us to get more and realize more of us. So that's my initial introduction to Meraki, how I started my journey and my relationship with Meraki. And then ever since, I have used it with a lot of clients. I have used it personally for self-coaching. When I get stuck somewhere, I use it and something comes up. My apologies for this little glitch, but we'll be back soon. Um, so it has always helped to break through that point where people get stuck. There are conversations where sometimes coaching and conversation is not enough. You need to surrender. And Meraki just allows people to do that. People have been stuck trying to find solutions to their problems, and they have not been because no ideas come through. And all of these questions that Meraki card puts across suddenly, neuroscience concept is it just breaks your pattern. It allows you to see beyond your limited thinking capacity. What you would normally not do, it takes you to take or think the road less traveled. And that is essentially how I have been using Meraki in my work arrangement.
Very interesting. I think I could deeply resonate with what you said, from being a very logical person to somebody now who's in the phase of surrendering. So, yeah, very interesting to note that. Yeah, so we'll move on now to the next question. And which is, Shiva, would you, in fact, before that, like to share a little bit about the conference?
Absolutely.
Point.
And I think Meraki really fits in well with this conference. The theme is spirituality to reality. And this mystical element that Meraki brings in, combined with the science of coaching. And when we put it at the backdrop of the chakra framework, which is the essential theme of the conference, I think they all marry well together and they create a concoction that allows people to experience um, thinking, which is much more beyond what the logics can allow you. And essentially, when people will come to this conference, they will experience how critical, as we were discussing in our previous session also, it is not just about the knowledge, the information, how much you know, but the world is changing and your energies are becoming so important. And therefore, when people will come to this conference, they will experience the shift in their energy. They will get more aware of what potential, how does blockage or too much of activation of a particular energy or chakra shows up in their life, in their role as a leader, as somebody who's trying to start up a business, for example, as somebody who's just trying to break through from their current life and start something new. So all of those elements get covered there, and we have eminent speakers coming in. We have a track that allows people to experience the shift in the moment, and we have people who would be providing frameworks, their own experience to allow people to expand their horizon.
In
Great.
fact, when Shiba called out, I think I have been reading Spirituality to Reality. But just now, when I heard Shiba say the frame, spirituality to reality, and it struck me, when we look at the cards, it actually creates a pause moment. reminds me of the poetic line, what is this life if we have no time to stand and stare? And so we actually have a card that we hold in our hand, and that causes us to pause and stare. And as we are staring, there is this silence that we are surrounded by that allows us to hear our own voice. And I think that's what makes this whole experience with Meraki so spiritual. When do we in our busy lives actually pause and listen to ourselves consciously? And just listening to ourselves, I think, sorts out a lot of stuff. How many of the audiences will agree with me? Like when we just listen to ourselves, I think there's a lot of understanding we get, and that understanding actually translates into movement forward. Well, thank you so much. I loved hearing that frame from you, Shiba.
Thank you. Thank you. And I totally resonate with you.
So that actually takes me to the next question, which is very much in line with what you just said, which is how have you seen Meraki making a significant difference in, say, an individual or a team through all of this, exploring their reality and the mystic clues that it gives and all of that.
Shall I?
Sure.
I think one of the first times that Pragati and I met also was over this example as to how I used it for a team intervention at work. Um, I had, if I may quickly, give you give you a context. So I had a project team that was comprising of four sub teams, and the manager came to me saying that these four sub teams are not collaborating. And it's one of those sweeping statements that we often hear when, at workplace, when managers come to us, the teams are not collaborating. And so I was in this Gurukul or the training room, and I had these four teams. And as it happens, when people walk into a room, they tend to gravitate towards their loved ones so that they can happily glare at the ones they don't love. And so the group actually sat around tables, those round tables, in their own respective teams. And then I did the wonderful thing that made me enemy number one. I did an inky pinky ponky and split them. So now they were mixed groups. Now there was a lot of tension in the air. You could see it because they were not happy to sit with each other. And I realized, okay, I definitely need an icebreaker. We started talking about what is this training about? What is the reason that they have all turned up? And I generally was met with silence. And so I gave a tea break, ran up the to my workstation, grabbed the Meraki cards, and came running down. Now, if you ask me, did I structure in Meraki consciously? No, I didn't. It was just a very instinctive thing. When I brought the Meraki cards, what I did was I put them into pairs and shuffled the cards. And as I walked around the room, each pair was allowed to take one card. And then I gave them 5 questions, which are based on the head, heart, and hand. Gave them 5 questions, and the action was, for example, if it is Shiba and me, Shiba would ask me 5 questions using the card, which covered the head, heart, and hand. And then I would ask her 5 questions. And the caveat was no judgment, no contradiction, no agreement, no criticism. Believe me, there was literally deathly silence. Like people just held the card as if they didn't know what to do with it. And then they're all looking at it. And then a few of them started smiling at perhaps what they felt very childish. And then one or two of them started asking the 5 questions. And then it caught on, and everyone started asking the 5 questions, and you could see the resistance, the defensiveness, the desire to contradict and kill the other person as they were, people were answering. But when the flip happened, there was a change in energy. When the flip happened, there was a lot more curiosity. There was a lot more, oh, really? Oh, wow, I never thought of it like that. And honestly, there was just a 10-minute activity and it became 20-minute because after the flip, it became a conversation, not a Q&A. And that's when I realized the icebreaker worked. The cards created a neutral, non-judgment space, triggering a conversation which they wouldn't have had otherwise, but in the process, staying in the background, framing the camaraderie that was being created. And I think that was the beauty of the Meraki cards. Suddenly there was this laughter in the room and yeah, backclap, backclapping and things like that. And then when everyone settled down, in that good mood, I asked them to write down the strengths that the team had to create a collaborative space. This is just a glimpse of the activity that I'm sharing. I think there's a longer version of the activity, Pragati, in one of the recordings that we had done. Right? Perhaps that's available on YouTube channel of Abhyudaya. But just sharing with all of you, just hold the cards in your hand and magic happens. Don't worry about how, what, where, when, and why should you use it. Just hold the cards in your hand and you will find magic unfolds. I think Shiva will agree with me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every single time. In
Yeah.
fact,
So
please
no,
go
no,
ahead.
please go ahead. No, please go ahead. Yeah.
I was just adding to what Maya said. Um, I used it, I extensively use it in two forms, and it works beautifully all the time. Every time I'm in a coaching conversation or somebody comes to me where they are stuck, either it is their life, something which is deeply personal to them, or it is something to do with their work role as a leader, as a subordinate, whatever it may be. Um, Meraki helps them see what they cannot see because it, as I said, breaks their pattern of thinking. It forces them to which reframe their default mode and consider other possibilities. And I think that is where the power of Meraki lies. I had a coach who is currently in a corporate and is planning for retirement. He was exploring what should he do for the business idea he had. And he was in a place where it felt like, there is no way. He said, I want to do this, that. And I asked him, is he open to doing something different? So we got the Meraki cards in, and that's where I feel the energy plays, the higher consciousness plays a role. The cards that came to align with him, after putting them together, he had his way forward, clear direction of what he should be doing. And that's the power. And the second play where I use it is when people don't have clarity, when they want to set goals, when they're confused. They don't know what to do first and what to do next. We are all in that space, isn't it? We have so many things to do. Where to start? So I think Meraki also plays beautifully as a tool to prioritize things aligned to your goals. And these are the two most powerful and most expansive ways in which I have been leveraging Meraki in my space.
Again, I think very interesting. So yeah, individual and team, both the places, I think the energy shift is what at least I could gather was somewhere the common sort of a thread. And that's exactly, what I meant when I said that when we created it as a logical framework, we didn't know the way the energy would kind of work through it. And very, happy to know this feedback every time we hear this. So again, this takes me to the next question now. So, for someone who hasn't really explored this space much, maybe many of the people in the audience today who have just been introduced to it briefly or are hearing it today for the first time, What would your suggestion be on how to get started?
I
Shiva?
can share this.
Yes.
Yes,
Go ahead.
absolutely. Um, I think one of the ways where you can experience it is that if you're aspiring coach, Abhyudaya includes Meraki as part of their coach training process. And other than that, Abhyudaya also offers a specific Meraki certification course that you can do. And that really goes deep into the energy work. What people can also do if you want to have access to the kit, and I think if Pragati, you could run down the slide where we show the Meraki kit,
Sure.
people can get a visual of it. So, as part of the Spirituality to Reality conference and making it a way of showing our gratitude to the community, to the people, and the participants, Meraki is available for people who are registered in the Gold Plan as part of our thanks, and also as a need to create more experience around it for people to experience the magic itself. And the conference Gold Plan also allows people, if you could keep moving forward, Pragati, we can move through the rest of the slides as well. So there is a special rhythm circle, so to say, that has been curated for the Gold Plan members. The idea is to really experience and see the shift in energy live of what rhythm and drums can do to you, and how energy really plays and how much we underestimate it, and take that back to the life that we normally lead. The next one that is up is a Sufi vibe. Like when I think of spirituality, when I think of inner connection, for those who have not experienced Sufi, I think you'll know, and it's an opportunity for you to experience how music can touch your soul, how it can raise your vibrations, and enable the process of surrendering for you. So that's another gratitude giving. There is a kit that will be given for self-coaching that people can leverage to get unstuck and get more productive in spaces that they would like to in their lives. And what else is there, Pragati? Aspiring coaches who are looking for ICF certifications, they are getting a special 10% discount. Again, to ensure that we have coaching fraternity that are expanding and giving more awareness and presence to our community. And yes, Abhyudaya is also as celebrating 10th year of their inception, as again part of gratitude, people who would like to pursue their coaching journey, offering 25% discount for any enrollments that happen in 2026. And I think this was the Santa surprise for the day. For people who are on the call and would like to experience how energy can really change the game for you, can be that pivot in your life that you're looking at, can be that breakthrough that creates new path for your life. This is your moment. We are offering a special discount of 30% for anyone who registered on this call live. And we look forward to spreading this energy more.
Cool.
I'll just request Abhigyan to share. Okay, I think he has shared
He
the
has
link.
shared.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Aishwarya, Shilps, and Peter, thank you so much for turning on your videos. Much obliged. As a facilitator, it's one of my pet peeves when people don't switch on videos. But yes, and especially for Shilps, Peter, and Aishwarya, here's something that I'd like to um, nudge you. Buy those Meraki cards. And as you go through this Spirituality to Reality conference, every time you're sitting listening to something, and Like Hrithik Roshan says, "Main aisa kyun hoon?" Like the actor asks, "Why am I like this? And what on earth am I doing here listening to this?" Pick up a card, look at it, and create your own bubble of, "I know who I am." And then ping me and Shiba and Pragati back. And then, like Pragati and Jaya have often said, it is not we who choose the card, it's the card who chooses us, right, Pragati?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. And indebted to Pragati and Jaya for creating this little tool, which actually makes our life so much more surer and grounded. I
Thank
think
you,
we
Maya. I
all
think,
we all
yeah.
kind of look for confidence, but what Pragati and Jaya have given us is a tool that makes us very sure and grounded, and which automatically translates into confidence. So here's to all of you.
And it is the confidence that we get from the coaches and the community when they use it is what actually is the power behind these cards, is what I feel. And we would love for more and more people to experience it and share with us how their journey has been so that we can take it forward to, literally all the coaches in the world. And it's not just restricted for coaches, anybody as a parent, anybody as a teacher, facilitator could use it because it's a creative tool. Coaches do understand the nuances and can go a little deeper, and that's why we always kind of focus our discussion from that lens. But then it can be used in many different contexts, and we would love for you to explore it.
To add to Pragati, if I may, I know of a colleague who uses Meraki as a way to connect and transform her teenager son. And that has helped miraculously because teenagers today have, youth in general, have a different kind of life and challenges. And Meraki has played an integral role in helping her shape what kind of child he becomes. And also to Maya's point, I think calling, and I beg to differ here, Maya, please hear me out. Calling Meraki a tool is an understatement.
Absolutely.
It is, in my opinion, an experience. And I say it from my own personal experience. It is an experience that is not linear. It doesn't have a process. The beauty of it is that there is no process in it. It connects with you where you are. And when that happens, you rise. And that's what happens in a Meraki session.
Totally.
And I think here I would like to add something which may seem like a paradox. Like we say in coaching, it's not a process. We just connect with the whole conversation and go deeper. Yet there is a process. So this itself also is like a dance. And, the way we would like to use it is how we could leverage it depending on our own styles, our own format, our own audience. Yeah. So just thought I'll bring that as well. In fact, the entire intent of bringing up that workshop also was that can we equip people to give them a sort of a framework, but not limit them with that, and also learn back from them that how is it that they used. For instance, what Maya just shared, I think she used it very early on in the journey with respect to solving conflicts in a team or enabling more collaboration in a team. The way she had executed is something that we also never had it in our framework. So therefore, learning back and kind of tweaking, customizing, it's something that is a part of that whole journey and that experience. So thanks Shiva for bringing that, yeah, element as well.
Pragati, possible to show a card?
Yeah, I'll just project it on screen. Just give me 1 second.
Because there is a request in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. True.
Okay. I'll just take a minute to log into the website and then show it. Meanwhile, if we have any questions that anybody would like to ask, you could unmute yourself and ask as I'm kind of working on opening the card.
Also, Abhigyan, if there are any questions coming in from LinkedIn Live, please let us know.
Yes, King Shuk.
Hi, my question is, what is the origin of the word Meraki? Maybe you've
So it's
covered
a
it
Greek
already.
word. It's a Greek word.
Okay,
That means soul. So it talks about action. And in action, do we bring in our soul? Do you bring in your love? And do you bring in your creativity? So the idea is that's why the heart, head, and hand comes in. What do we do in our lives that make us who we are? And do we do it with all our soul? Do we do it with joy and love? If we do, then the soul and the love makes it creative.
okay,
And that is
nice.
the satisfying
Hmm,
aspect that makes us who we are.
understand. Thank you.
Sure.
Nice one.
Pragati, you can add.
Yeah. So I was saying thanks for kind of sharing that. So that exactly was the essence of creating Meraki. Doing something with our soul is what the intent was. Because of the shared vision that I spoke about that we both had, that can we make conversations deep, fun, and impactful. That's what we kind of brought out. So I, being a tarot reader, like that was something that I learned, and Jaya being a coach, we both kind of brought in the best from both the worlds and brought this up. And also, just that reminds me when I said tarot, a lot of people, when it comes to mysticism and spirituality, do not want to experiment with it. Like we heard from Shiba, that she has been a very logical person, and I totally could resonate with that. Being myself an engineer and an MBA, never thought of spirituality, at least in my childhood, but the way it could be introduced to people who do not really believe in spirituality is also that you could just introduce it as a game, like a card, like deck of cards, rather than it being only that. So it's like somebody who's believing in spirituality, enabling them to connect it to reality, but somebody who's in reality, we want them to connect to their spirituality. That could also happen through these. Just thought I'll kind of bring that up. Yeah, Anuradha, we
Nice,
have your
nice.
hand up.
You can unmute yourself.
Yeah. Hello. Good evening. Namaste. Thank you so much. I think that's a wonderful session and we are learning something new. So I would love to know from you this Meraki tool that you are talking about. So is it something that has been developed by you or was it there already and you are just trying to like improvise it or maybe make it even increase more creativity and like add some more elements to it? So this is my question. Thank you.
Pragati.
Yeah, so
She
it
being
was
the
conceptualized.
founder and conceptualizer of the Meraki cards. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's
it was conceptualized by me and Jaya together, and the whole, acronym that what the different elements could be, what the sub elements could be, how the card can look like, uh, what the questions on the card have to be. So I'll just share the card as well for you to see, and then kind of, help you see that even the tool. So framework and tool is all created by us. Yeah.
okay.
And owned by
Congratulations.
Abhyudaya. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
So basically, it is a kind of a tool it's a kind of a way or a method through which we can help people go into conversations rather than making them judgmental and just be very free about their views, their thoughts, and their processes which are going on in their hearts and mind. Right. So it's a
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
a tool which you are using in the corporate sector, basically, to help solve problems, to help people think critically and also creatively.
So
That is it.
corporates, non-corporates, personal,
Yeah.
professional, any
All
sort of
relationships.
context. Yeah.
Right. Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for asking that. Yeah, Shwarya, would you like to unmute yourself?
Hey, hi Pragati, hi Maya, hi Shiba. This question is to
Hello.
all of you. How do you see each of these elements coming alive in the Spirituality to Reality conference, whether it's meaning, energy, reality, attention, knowledge, and innovation? How do you see it coming alive in the 2 days of the Spirituality to Reality conference?
Like I said, please hold the card and figure out who am I. But yes, Shiba?
I would like for you to repeat that question once again, Ashwarya. It was a loaded question. I want to make sure I understand it and answer it appropriately.
I love the label to it, loaded. Okay. But so my question is, how do you see each of these elements of Meraki, which is meaning, energy, reality, attention, innovation, and knowledge, coming alive during the 2 day conference? Of course, we are speaking about energy largely, uh, but how do you see the other elements also coming alive through those 2 days as we go along in the conference?
Beautiful question. Absolutely thoughtful question, Ashwarya. Kudos for thinking on that in that space. But the way I see it is an integration. So, in my perspective, the 2 days that we will all be together will have the privilege of experiencing it. Um, it is not one thing or the other. We are looking at holistic integration inside. So when we talk about innovation, we talk about energy, we talk about meaning, we talk about any of those elements that Meraki has, and we talk about the 7 chakras that are there, and the speakers who will be adding their perspective. I see them seamlessly integrating and enabling each other. So for me, Meraki becomes a tool that enhances that energy experience much beyond the conference and not just limited to it. So conference becomes primarily the precursor to the process, to the experience, and then people who would like to continue to experience that energy, vibrations rising in them and work for them. I think Meraki as a process, as a tool, can enable for that to sustain.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for bringing that out. Yes, it's a great tool for ongoing work. Like the conversation can start at the conference, but what do you do after that? So,
Yes,
yeah, thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Thank you.
And also, I like to add the way chakras are all integrated, interconnected. One chakra blocked impacts the other one, right? Similarly, even here, the elements are all integrated. Something not working in one element would have an impact on the other. So, somewhere, that energetic connection, the interlinkage is there. Yeah.
Can I also add, now that you said that, I have been asked, and inevitably, I'm sure you've been asked this question many times. How do we bring ourselves at work and in personal life? We are two different people. We can't be same. People are trying to find that. How can you be authentic at work? And my response to that is, you cannot be. You're not two people. You are just one. It's choices you make. It's the energy you become. And as Jaya often says, it's not about putting a facade, becoming something, learning and unlearning. It's about who you're becoming. It's about just being, and you just show up. So my response to that is, it is not key you fix one piece and the other piece is fixed on its own. It's a ripple effect. One thing affects the other, and it's the same thing, and that is how it shows up. Then you don't have that dilemma anymore. Can I be authentic at work? Can I do this at work? And but I'm like this in my personal life, and I'm something different at work. You can't be. It's choices you're making that are creating those dissonances in your life, that create that restlessness in your life. And that is the reason why you have so much that you have to deal with, because you're constantly having an imposter syndrome. You're trying to be something here, and then you're trying to be something else, but inside you want to be something else. And therefore, how do you bring all of that in sync? And that's the process where energy alignment um, comes into play, where you start being and you start showing up and you start being present. And I think that becomes a critical piece for coaches, for leaders who are leading teams and inspiring people, and for anybody who's looking for personal alignment, who is just looking for fulfillment.
Aishwarya, actually, like when I started, I said the cards are like a bowl that hold you. The cards actually hold you enough to make you unafraid to face yourself. And it doesn't matter when, where you are, and it doesn't matter in what relation or context that you are looking at. It's almost like a friend who embraces you and says it's okay to be you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you so much for asking.
I
Aarti,
see
the question.
Shilps raising her hand.
Oh, yeah, Shilps.
Hi, I really like this. The name of my sound is Shilps. Actually, my name is Shilpi, but right now I'm really addressing and loving my inner child, so I call myself Shilps. Okay. Okay. So I was actually very intuitive to know how would you blend in the chakras? Because I've come from, of course, ICF Abhyudaya is something I've just encountered recently, so that definitely got my interest. But I've learned coaching under different mentors, attracting them on the online medium, and of course, different. Blends of Ho'oponopono, which is something that attracted me, and I think a lot of coaches also use it. Um, I want to know that while I have learned chakra healing more in the form of a meditation, how would you integrate that? I mean, that's the first thing that got me is like, how do I know how my chakras are aligned? And there's so much more to know. So I think if you can answer this question for me, that how would you do it from a coaching perspective? I understand from a healing perspective is through a meditation, and you visualize and you imagine that your chakras are opening up. But how would you do it from a coaching perspective?
Who wants to go, Maya? Would you like to take it? I'll take it, and then others can add.
Actually, I was wanting to ask Shilps,
Thank you.
how does she look at chakras?
So I would only imagine, I mean, I think the way I've learned it is through colors. And when you go through the meditation and you call it a color and it kind of lights up. So that's how it's, yeah, been told.
It's the rainbow within you.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I was just, while listening to you, it made me realize that chakras are like the different facets we have, and we are a composite. And when we are moving through the space of coaching, we peel our layers and understand what we are made of. Isn't it so? And I think that is why the spirituality to reality.
Right.
Many people wonder, isn't it reality to spirituality? But here we are looking at we are spiritual beings, and how do we align ourselves so that we, like Shiva so beautifully put it out, like what are the choices we are making, and who are we being in reality?
In reality, I think this is also probably resonating with the Bhagavad Gita because, yeah, I want to share this with you. Just sorry, one sec. Yeah, my husband was hearing, and it says, we think we're human beings in search of spirituality. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. I thought that was, yeah.
Absolutely. And if I may add, that is really true. And to tell you the truth, how this framework really translates to coaching, it's no rocket science. Chakras is as much about our physical being as it is about our spiritual being. It's about our energy centers, our nervous centers where they integrate, right? And which means there is a biochemistry to it, which means how our energy, the spiritual piece is, as we narrated, it shows and reflects in our physical being. So when we talk about today's day and time, to answer your question, how does it translate to coaching?
Sure.
When you have people coming to you or you witness corporate burnout, people who have titles, who are seemingly outwardly very successful, but so discontent inside. Children and all of us have all the resources, but we are still not fulfilled within. We still lack. We are always craving, isn't it? These are all symptoms of something deeper, which is not connected and broken and disintegrated. And therefore, when we add a lens of energy and chakra to this, we are able to identify where the symptoms are aligning to, and thereby hold a space in a coaching conversation which can focus on those specific areas and help the client or the person in that coaching conversation really go deeper and bring those pieces back together and become one. And
Okay.
that is how it translates. So, as part of the conference, there is in the toolkit, there will be a little guide that kind of walks you through if you're dealing with a person and there is this kind of conversation that is coming up, what kind of chakra blockages may be, and as a coach, how can you enable that person to,
Okay.
kind of break through from that place and move forward.
Okay, this actually really holds my interest because it's been like a very mystical experience. Like how, even if I would hear the chakra healing and I would love it, but a lot of meditation really put me off to sleep because it calms you down so much that I'm like a little baby fast asleep. So this is, yeah, and I feel it's a lack of awareness which prevents us from being a better person, right? So I think I'm actually excited and thank you for the discount. I didn't expect it, but wow, abundant. Yeah, so thank you. And really
So
looking
glad to
forward.
have you all.
Thank you. And I'm really interested in the Meraki cards. That's like definitely holds my interest.
You're going to love it.
Yeah, thank you.
I think there
Okay,
are a
so
few
we have,
questions in the chat
yeah,
also, Pragati.
yeah. We have Anuradha who has raised her hand. Anuradha, do you want to unmute yourself? Meanwhile, I'll just go through the
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah, so thank you. I just wanted to share one very important thing here since we are discussing on a very, very interesting note. So just now mentioned. So I feel that many a times when you are confused about certain things and when you feel stuck in life, so like the concept of Meraki cards that you're talking about, many a times if you just open a Bhagavad Gita and just close your eyes and just open any page, and whatever page opens, so whatever, if you just read those lines, maybe at that instant moment you will definitely get an answer to what is making you what is making you feel stuck or something. So I think your Meraki cards could be something of that way, that it just helps a person to come more in terms with what is going inside. And maybe so Bhagavad Gita also, if you just go and open when you are feeling down or maybe something is troubling you, you can just simply go relax, sit near God and pray to the universe, and automatically the super energy will always come to you and will always be your friend. So I'm a very nature loving person and I totally believe in the universe and the law of attraction and everything. So I think that energy will always catch you whenever you are stuck somewhere. So thank you so much. I just wanted to share this with you.
Thanks
Thank you.
for sharing. Beautiful.
Thanks, Anuradha.
I think Aarti asked when she said, no, like whenever you need
Yeah.
it, you open a page of Bhagavad Gita, and similarly, you pick up a card. And Aarti coincidentally has asked, how many times is too much? And would I be overdoing it or overstretching? How many times would you like to be hugged, Aarti? With no
Several
demands, no
times.
conditions. With no demands, no conditions, no judgment, that many times.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Pleasure. I think Peter also had a question. I'll leave it to
Yeah.
Shiba and Pragati to answer.
So I think Peter's question is that is there a mapping between Meraki elements and chakra map?
वो हो गया.
To answer Peter's question, I think there is no direct mapping because these are two independent frameworks, but definitely there is a lot of synergy in how we can leverage Meraki as a tool to expand and align energy of chakras
I think
and
Peter,
coaching.
yeah, coaching. Yes, Peter, the primary original start was okay, how can we make coaching simpler? And in the process, we found that Pragati and Jaya have created something so magical that lends itself to various other realms of understanding the human behavior, the human mind. So it's just that it lends itself to the chakra aspect. It's not that Jaya and Pragati actually created a tool for mapping.
Yeah.
So hope that answers Peter.
Shilpa has a question. I believe you have your hand
Okay.
raised still.
No, it's an
No?
old one.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll also show the Meraki card. I think that was a request that came long time back. So this is how the cards look like. I have pulled out 4 cards. So every card has an image, and we have tried to keep the images creative enough to make them visual cues for people to think. And then there is an element and a sub-element. If you would remember, meaning is one of the elements, and there was a sub-element which was purpose. And then there is a head here. So either head, heart, or hand, one of the symbols would be there on each card. And this question is actually a derivative of the element, the sub-element, and the symbol. So what purpose do you think this will serve? Somewhere is a derivative of meaning, purpose, and the thinking part from the head. So that's how these 54 cards are in place, which are based on the coaching framework that I had shown in the initial part of the session.
And it
Yeah,
is,
and it comes,
if
yeah.
anyone has, sorry, Pragati, if anyone has done NLP, it's a very vague space, visual, auditory, kinesthetic.
Yeah.
So if you look at the cards and you're thinking something, and automatically the word or the image that is relevant and takes you forward will just pop up from the card. That's the beauty of it. So it's really a visual, auditory, kinesthetic experience. Yes, Pragati.
Yeah, I was just saying, just to add another piece. So we have the deck in both the formats, the physical and the digital. Just so that you are aware, because there are a lot of times we have people whom we want to interact with who are like not physically present, but so these options are also there. Yeah. Any more questions? Okay, so is it like a tarot experience for coaches?
Okay.
It could be, yeah. It, like I said, we kind of got the best from the tarot and from coaching as well. Yes, and no, both, in the sense that, the way the person would like to experience it is how one can see it, whether as a game, whether as a logical coaching framework, or as a spiritual sort of mystic sort of an experience where we are getting clues and we are interpreting. So tarot, typically the reader would interpret for you and
Yeah.
share it. Here you would interpret for yourself, and that's what the coaching element is. So yeah, that way. Right. So I think very, very interesting questions. And it was lovely to have you all as audience. And we had announced it at the last minute, and still, all of you could make it. It's really a pleasure to have you all around. And we could definitely be connected after the session as well on LinkedIn. So thanks everyone for joining in. We have registered for the conference, and we would look forward to see you as well there.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, all. It was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. It was very refreshing, very, very interesting and very
Thank you,
refreshing.
Francie.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes, thank you
Aishwarya.
very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so
Wish you all
much.
the best with the
Thank you.
conference.
Anuradha had a problem with the link, I think.
Yeah, I tried in the morning also, but somehow it was not opening. So if you
What
could,
are you using,
share-
Android or something
I'm,
else? iPhone?
I'm using an Android. If you could share any number who can get in touch with me,
Abhigyan, can you please make a note of Anuradha? Maybe we can connect with her and help her out with this.
that would be very nice. Thank you, Shiva.
Absolutely,
And I
no
must
problem.
appreciate, I think I really love your face. You look
Oh,
very,
thank you so much. You
very
just made my day.
charming. All of you, in fact, but I don't know. Particularly you, I found there is a
We are
special.
all beautiful human
Yeah,
beings.
of course. Of course, everybody is. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. It was such a
Thank you,
genuine
buddy.
pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.